How do you do, fellow kids? Today I am going to be opening up Wave 1 of Masters of the Universe Origins. I bought these all at different times, and I've had them in their original packaging, just chilling on my shelf, but I decided I want to open these up and see what all the hubbub is about. I'm really excited to get more waves. I just ordered Wave 2 on I think it was Entertainment Earth, and I'm waiting for my Target to get more of the figures from Wave 4. I think is what most people are seeing there on the shelves, and some of the deluxe figures. But so far this is all I have, but I want to check them out, so I'm going to open these up. All right, I think I'm gonna move my lamp here a little bit so that I can get some good lighting on these guys. I'm gonna kind of review these one by one. I'm gonna start with Teela. Teela is an action figure that I didn't have Teela. My sister had Teela. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this off. So most of the time we had Teela without her sort of snake armor, and the reason is because in the cartoon, in the animated series, she didn't wear the armor. I'm gonna go ahead and mention it, although it's been covered by many YouTubers, including I think Retro Blasting, mentioned that her knees are a little weird, and I agree, but I think it's because they were kind of following the original molds, and then they added articulation to it. So I can kind of understand how this, how this occurred. So her knees. Yeah, so like if you bend her knees or whatever, it kind of ends up looking a little odd. It's too bad they didn't do like double jointed knees for Teela. I do remember what the face looked like, and this is a little different. Of course, I think the point of the Origins is to be a little closer to the animated series. And and I never really understood why she wore or why she came with this armor. And it's been more recent with other collectors, and great explanations about the fact that she was originally when the Mattel toy designers kind of created her. She was she was supposed to be more of a goddess, kind of what the sorcerer had become, and she has sort of a snake motif. So that's why she has that snake armor, and then in the animated series they kind of did away with that. So I also, when I was a kid, I also had Beastman. My father used to tease me that my father used to tease me that He-Man wasn't a real man because he didn't have any hair or any body hair, and he said, "Oh, Beastman's more of a man than He-Man because of course he's got hairy arms and a hairy torso, and facial hair." Let's see. And you compare him to He-Man. He-Man's nice and smooth. So my dad always made that joke that Beastman was a real man. And a lot of really good details. I noticed, I think I realized this as I put his little shoulder pads on the wrong way. It seems to me that the shoulder pads were much brighter, like orangish red, when I was a kid, you know, or the vintage ones. I had I had a hard time keeping them on his arms. These seem to be a little more flexible and a little more forgiving. So I'm really glad for that. I love the head sculpt. You know, I think I've mentioned in you know, in a past review that, you know, I haven't really been collecting Masters of the Universe, and one of the things that keeps going through my head is I remember when I kind of moved on to G.I. Joe, I sold all of my Masters of the Universe figures to Travis Burns for $10, and I think we both got a good deal. I mean, this was like, you know, like the later 80s, and nobody was really into MOTU. I think it was probably after that terrible movie kind of killed the franchise, and I wasn't interested in playing with them anymore. I had, you know, like a small collection of maybe 10 or 12 of these guys, and you know, and Travis wanted them. I regret a little bit that I sold them, but I probably would have ended up giving them away, just to kind of make room for my G.I. Joe toys. So these are the two that were in that collection that I sold, and Evil-Lyn was not a figure that I had. Evil-Lyn is the same sculpt or buck as Teela. I think the only difference is the head sculpt. Evil-Lyn obviously has a different head sculpt. It's really cool. She's got this, you know, helmet with a skull on it. Really great details. And Evil-Lyn was yellow. The toy was yellow, even though the animated series had her in a you know, flesh colored. You know, pretty good face sculpt. I always thought Evil-Lyn was a little hot. Yeah. So look at that stamp right on their back. It's a little disappointing that this kind of magic wand that she comes with is the only accessory that she has. But you know, she's a cool figure either way. She'll look good kind of backing up Skeletor. And then actually the one figure that I was most excited about is Man-at-Arms, or Duncan. It's incredible that the face sculpt, to me, looks exactly like the face sculpt from the 80s, the 80s toy, and they added the mustache to make him match his character from the animated series. Yeah, his armor looks great. I love his accessory. It's too bad he doesn't come with like some sort of kind of computerized gadget or something, because Man-at-Arms was kind of the scientist, the engineer of the show. He's got a great color scheme, although all of the colors in the Origins line are a little bit dialed up from what they were from the 80s. In the 80s, the color scheme was a little more muted. I also like the asymmetrical armor, where he's got more armor on this side. That way he can kind of fight. And then this kind of neck guard that comes up, and you know, kind of protects his vulnerable neck area. I think this is really badass action figure. I think he was kind of you know, kind of underrated when I was a kid. You know, it was kind of like, you know, nobody really wanted Man-at-Arms. He's just kind of a back, you know. I mean, he's a main character. Don't get me wrong. He's like main character in the animated series, but he's not. You know, he's more. You know, he's more of a sidekick to He-Man, and you know, and some of the other characters were a little more, you know, action oriented. But you know, now I heck, I don't know. I probably identify more with Duncan than any of the other characters. Hopefully, I would love to see them come out with some of the palace guards, kind of in this same, you know, the same design, but you know, maybe with the full face mask, the full helmet or something. That would be cool. I'd love to get a couple of those. Not, you know, not fully army build, but you know, just to kind of flesh out the squad there. But yeah, that's the rest of Wave 1, you know, not counting He-Man, Skeletor, and Battle Cat. The 4 figures that came out in Wave 1. Wave 2 is on its way. I'm really pumped about this series. I hope they make as many of these characters as possible. And you know, come back for more reviews. All right, so I've asked a consultant to help me out with this part, a little bit of a feature for this video. I have a toy expert here. He goes by the code name Crystal Darkness. Go ahead and say hi.
Hi.
Okay. And I just wanted to find out a few things, if he, you know, what he thought about these action figures. But first, I wanted to ask you. You've seen some He-Man cartoons. Do you know who these guys are? Starting with her. Do you know her name?
No.
No. Okay. This is Teela. Teela? What about him? Do you know him?
Yeah.
What's his name? You don't have to yell.
I forgot his name, but I know.
You remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Man-at-Arms. What about this guy? You don't remember?
I remember him, but I don't remember that.
This is Beastman.
I know. Oh.
And what about her? Do you remember her?
No.
This is Evil-Lyn. So now that you've gotten a good look at them, which of these figures is your favorite? Which one do you like the most?
This one.
You like him? What do you like about Beastman?
Because he has that little thing.
Yeah, that's a cool detail, isn't it? His little armor has some sort of insignia or something. Looks nautical to me. Some chains or something. So, do you think this guy is a good guy or a bad guy?
Bad guy.
A bad guy. Yeah, that's right. He's one of Skeletor's guys.
I know that.
Yeah. Which figure is your least favorite? Her?
Yeah.
What don't you like about Teela?
Because she has those boots that are brown, and I don't like brown.
Oh, you don't like the color brown? Yeah, she's got a little bit of a burgundy
and it
color.
looks like she's a bad guy.
Yeah, it does. She kind of has she looks different than she does in the cartoon.
Oh,
huh?
I get it. I get it. She's dressed like that, so she would trick Skeletor.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and I really appreciate your opinion. Thanks a lot, Crystal.
Bye.
Bye. I hope you enjoyed my review of Wave 1 of the Masters of the Universe Origins line. I have to say, I really love the accessibility of these figures. I mean, they're Mattel is really making it easier on collectors. You know, comparing that to some of the Hasbro lines that I've been collecting in the past couple of years. I'm really enjoying picking these up, finding them at retail, or, you know, buying them online when, you know, and they've been, you know, pretty available. So I'm really happy with that. I hope they continue this line. I am a little concerned because when I see them at retail, you know, they're mostly selling He-Man and Skeletor in very large quantities, and my theory is that Mattel is putting those two main characters out there in huge numbers to see if they can, you know, basically make this a viable product to kids. I mean, I see them on the pegs a lot, so I don't really have a good sense of how many kids are actually buying them. So I'm not sure how long this the Origins wave, or, you know, the Origins series of figures are going to last, but I intend to pick up as many as they produce, because I mean, I think they're great. Just the fact that they're close, you know, close to what I remember as a kid, and then they have the extra articulation, which makes them, you know, posing them on the shelf is really fun, and you know, just a really great toyetic experience from a collector's standpoint, from a nostalgia standpoint. I really think the Origins line is great. So anyway, if you like my review and you want to see some more, you know, subscribe, give me a like, and thanks for stopping by.